Today is the day. What is today? We're fixing some more of our yurt problems that we've had. So in our last video, or one of our last videos, we talked about our sink had been leaking and the dome is cracked and just some other things around the yurt that we really want to take care of and maybe just bring it up a notch. So let me show you what all we've gotten done today. Evan came over to help us out with replacing the sink. If you remember from video in the past, we talked about how our sink and our faucet was leaking underneath. We have a bucket under there. Here's my trusty bucket that I had under the sink because I knew it was leaking. And then it just got so bad that we just have to end up replacing the whole sink and faucet. And now I have a new kitchen sink. We still need to paint back here and take care of that. But look, I have a nice big sink with a nice big faucet. I am so excited because that leaky faucet and leaky sink, I hated it. And the bucket underneath the sink, I was just so over it. And as I suspected, so many of you guys left notes in the comments saying that you could relate to the bucket underneath the sink. So no more of that. I don't want any more buckets underneath the sinks. Mike and Evan had to go to the hardware store to buy some more pieces for the sink, but also to buy some lumber because they're gonna work on making the kids bunk beds. So we're gonna have 3 high. And as you can see right here, these are our old bunk beds, and this is all the junk that was on Josiah's bed. I know all of you parents out there can totally relate, or at least I hope you can, of how much your children hoard on their bunk bed, because this is honestly pretty ridiculous. So we're gonna clean that up, take everything out, and whenever they get back, they're gonna fix the sink and work on new bunk beds for the kids. And like I mentioned before, another project we have is the dome. It cracked, and it's been cracked for a few months now, and we just hadn't had the time to take it down, and it wasn't leaking bad, so we just left it up.
All right, so we're getting ready to change the dome up here. Actually, not change it, try to fix it. As you can see, got a pretty significant crack that we're gonna have to try to squeeze and put back together. Hopefully it does not continue to split and come around here. That wouldn't be good. But the view's kind of nice up here. What do you think, Evan?
Oh yeah.
It is a little toasty though.
We don't personally own any heavy equipment, but it sure is nice whenever you can borrow one. I really don't know how we would have gotten this job done without it.
Being up on heights isn't my favorite thing in the world. However, somebody has to do the job. Besides, Lacie is much better than me at driving the lawn, so I got up there to help take down the dome.
I know Mike doesn't like heights, so I get a little bit nervous for him whenever I'm putting him up there. Not to mention, it is a little nerve-wracking that I kind of have his life in my hands.
So as I was bringing down the dome, it really felt fragile. So I was really being careful of bringing it down and just being mindful of being up there at the same time. But thankfully, we brought it down safely. And hey, any landing that you can walk away from is a good landing.
This guy.
Oh, yeah, that's where I fixed it before. Yeah.
We decapitated our yurt. It looks weird without the little cap on the top there. Oh man.
Man, this is held up good for 7 years. It has been up 7 years.
So this is where you glued it before when we had the original crack?
Yeah, don't. Yeah, I glued it back. It's not a glue, it's a...
Like an epoxy or something?
It actually melts the acrylic and bonds it together.
Yeah.
If you have your finger in that mix, do you... Are you kind of tied into the job for life?
You have a very quick drying time for this acrylic.
So don't lick it.
Yeah.
That's right.
If not, you
Got
become one with the dome. And looking down from the top of the yurt without the dome, just looking out at our homestead, was a really interesting view.
Whenever they took it down, they put tape on it to keep it from further cracking. So there's that one. But once we got it down, we found another crack here, and it's starting to crack here, and actually some places that I had fixed over 7 years ago now, or about 7 years ago, they're kind of starting to come undone. So as you can see, it's cracked pretty bad. We're gonna go ahead and patch it up this time, and you know, I think we're gonna start making a budget for replacing the dome because you know, it's almost too cracked, and we really don't want to have to, you know, keep dealing with this. So another thing on the list, right? Don't you all have a list? Do you have a list of things that you want to replace at your house just to make life easier? Because that's what we're having to do here. Let me know what you're having to replace here in the comment section below, because I'd love to hear. I need to go back inside and make sure the kids are cleaning up what they need to clean up and getting all their stuff out of the way. So what are we doing in here?
Relaxing.
Relaxing? Looking at furniture?
Yeah.
What you're looking at?
Yeah.
Well, you're about to get some new furniture in the form of a bunk bed. So let's get up and start cleaning up.
After the kids finally decided to clean up and stop lounging around, I got to work disassembling their old bunk beds. Believe it or not, these bunk beds right here that we're moving on from are actually ones that I slept in when I was a kid. I think I was about your age, buddy, when my parents first got these. And they're really solid wood. It'd be very hard to find bunk beds made like this these days, and if you did, it'd probably be really expensive. But we're looking to move on, since we want to create a 3-tier bunk bed system so that each kid has their own bed, and something that fits in this area a little bit better. So it's neat that my kids were able to enjoy these beds, but we are moving on. So it's like a bittersweet feeling that we have with them, as well as, I guess, like a reminiscent, nostalgic moment at the same time. But we're moving on. Continuing to make progress, right? That's right. And as I was doing that, Evan was finishing up installing the faucet and finishing setting up our new sink.
No leak, that's good. Red water, that's good. Good there, just want to get the tension up.
The manly stack right there.
That's right.
And one modification that we really wanted to do with these new beds is to start with the first bottom bed all the way down to the floor, because the kids just have a knack for storing stuff under the bed. So this new setup would hopefully prevent that. Man. Wow. That'll be your bed, this will be mine.
Yours.
You got some sass going on, don't you? The next day, we started working on the dome. Along with Mike's help, I was able to glue it back together so we could be able to put it back up on top of the yurt.
Go ahead and push together now.
Yep, go ahead. It's gonna be ugly, but too long. And we'll go and we'll do the other side too when this dries.
This was the second crack we noticed when we were bringing it down, right?
Yeah, but it cracked. See, this is where, before we ever set up our yurt, it fell off in our garage. And this piece cracked off, and these pieces, and this is where I glued it back before. And it stood up for a long time. But, you know, this is in the sun all the time. So it's not surprising that it cracked. It's been up 7 years here, and I think it was set up at least 3 years at the other location before we got it, and it was in storage too. So it's about time for another one.
So after the dome was finished drying, we had to put it back up on top of the earth, which means I had to get back up in the air once again and testing my challenges with heights. But thankfully, we did not have a problem. We got the dome securely set. I came down and had another landing that I could walk away from. So the dome is on once again, and thankfully we got it on before the rain came. It was actually raining earlier today, and I'm feeling a drop or two, so it actually may rain again. But thankfully it is on, because if it wasn't, we would have had rain coming down inside the house, and that wouldn't have been fun.
We don't need anything else waterlogged at all.
I did like the new view of being able to look out, but it's not worth it of having rain just coming straight into your house. So it's on. And it did look kind of weird with the yurt being decapitated at the top. So thankfully we don't have that anymore. We still may have to get a new dome, as Lacie mentioned, but we're gonna see how this works out for now. And this is one of the few episodes where you actually got to be the main host, and I had cameo appearances and was able to say a thing or two, but
yeah, it's all about
you did
me.
a great job. Yeah.
Just kidding.
But you did a great
kidding.
job. How did it feel being the main host?
I don't know if I like it.
Get to be the main person for the show.
Hello, hello, hello.
So maybe you can do it again real soon. It gives me a little bit of a break. Besides, it was pretty busy working with Evan, running to the store and doing all the things we were doing.
It was
So,
really busy that
thank you
day.
for doing it.
You're welcome.
There we go.
Step in where I can, you know.
Well, that's it for this video. Make sure you stay tuned, because we are going to Georgia to visit Comfort Farms and our friend, John Jackson. Also,
And Bree, his wife.
and Bree, his wife, but I like to call him Axon Jackson. So he's a vet. He has a farm down there. He's doing some amazing things. So make sure you check out for that. Try that again. So make sure you stay tuned for that video coming soon. See you next time.
Bye, guys.